Hello, my name is Chris Hart. I'm an attorney at the law firm Foley Hoag in Boston. I'm a litigator and a member of Foley Hoag's cybersecurity incident response team. A good deal of my legal practice is spent advising companies on different phases of incident response. What to do when you suspect a data breach, working through questions of legal compliance, and then responding to and defending against subsequent litigation and government investigations, should those things occur. Rapid7 has invited me to share some of the perspective I've gained in advising clients over the years, and I want to spend a few minutes giving you an overview of how to think about data breach from a legal perspective. Obviously, I'm not giving legal advice here, but instead I want to provide a broad framework that I hope can be helpful to you as you think about navigating a data breach. In thinking about a data breach from a legal perspective, there are really three categories under which legal activity occurs. The first is before a breach, in the process of policymaking and incident preparation. The second is upon discovery of a breach, which we broadly term crisis management. And the third is handling the complications afterward in responding to and defending against government investigation and data breach litigation. In a lot of ways, each category is related to the other categories, but let me talk about each of those in just a little more detail so you can see what I mean. The first category, policy making and incident preparation, that category is really about thinking through what would happen in the event of a data breach. What do you need to do to minimize the possibility of a breach? What would you need to do if and when a breach occurs? Having a written information security policy that includes an incident response plan can be an incredibly useful and important tool. Having such a plan would involve identifying the members of a crisis management team, your forensic consultant, your legal counsel, your public relations expert, creating a system to take stock of your data management, and identifying employee training needs. The second category, crisis management, is hopefully something you have already thought about in the first category, before the data breach occurs. This category involves investigating the breach, patching it and restoring system security, notifying affected individuals, notifying law enforcement authorities as necessary and appropriate, and taking whatever other steps might be necessary to protect anyone affected. Now, if you've already done a good job in the first category, you'll be in much better shape to deal with incident response if a data breach occurs. You'll already have a forensic consultant in place. You'll know your legal counsel. You'll have a PR firm. And you'll know what steps you need to take internally to make sure that the appropriate people are made aware of the incident and that you can minimize any disruption to your business. I'll be spending some more time talking about this category at a later time. The third category, investigation and litigation, will hopefully never occur. And if you've handled the first two categories effectively and appropriately, you've probably done much of what you reasonably can to minimize your legal liability. Another way of thinking about your legal liability in litigation is this. If you've acted reasonably and used best practices to minimize the possibility of a breach, and if you've quickly and reasonably complied with your legal obligations, and if you've done all you can to protect consumers and affected individuals, then not only have you minimized the damage from a breach, which is good for your company and for the individuals affected by a breach, but you've also minimized your risks in possible litigation. In any event, this category involves responding to inquiries and investigation demands from state and federal authorities, responding to complaints from individuals and third parties, and generally engaging in litigation until the disputes have been resolved. This can be a frustratingly time-consuming and expensive process. That's it for this week's Whiteboard Wednesday. I hope it gives you some sense of what I'm thinking about when it comes to data breach response and provides you a framework to think through some of the legal issues you might face. I look forward to talking with you again about some of the more specific aspects of incident response.